We are going to come in with Typlosion and look to load up on energy. Registeel is going to debuff us with a Zap Cannon. Can we farm down before they get to another move? No, we cannot. We are going to have to tank the Focus Blast. Ouch, that hurt. But likewise, you better respect the Solar Beam, Tapu Fini, or get fucking wrecked. So, welcome back to the home of Shadow Pokemon. I know a lot of you love that triple shadow action I bring on the channel, but even more of you love that triple shadow action when we turn the spice notch up a level or two, and today we are cranking it all the way because we are running a very unique core of Shadow Typlosion and Shadow Suicune. If you're a regular on the channel, you'll also know we don't bait, so we're running nukes galore. Suicune running Snarl, Ice Beam and Hydro Pump, none of that nonsense Bubble Beam. We got Typlosion, as you can see on the screen, with Blast Burn and Solar Beam. Getting into their battles, you can already see we're getting some bullshit lag. The opponent throws a charge move and a Psycho Cut, so they were technically at 8 with the extra, so I did shield up, respecting a potential future sight, and this absolute savage baits me with a Grass Knot. We aren't going to shield the second one up, it's just a Moonblast. We are now spamming out the Blast Burn, and once again, Niantic is absolutely fucking screwing me. Holy crap, Niantic, give me a fucking break. We are going to tank the Grass Knot though. We're at the next Blast Burn. Does the opponent want to burn a shield? They do not. Down goes Cresselia. We are down shield, so we switch out into Suicune to meet the Nidoqueen. We've obviously got 2 responses for the Nidoqueen having double water in the back. The opponent goes for a Poison Fang. They now switch out into Umbreon, and you already know we're throwing the straight Hydro Pump. Hydro Pump lands for big damage. We aren't going to shield this up, even debuffed Suicune, an absolute monster. We are now looking to CMP tie on the next foul play. If we CMP tie, despite the bullshit in the opening matchup, we might be sitting in a great spot and the opponent falls for the CMP. You love to fucking see it. We aren't quite out of the woods yet. We've got the big fat Walrus versus the super bulky Umbreon and the full health Nidoqueen. Can we pull this one off? So we're going to look to constantly overfarm. We need residual energy for that Nidoqueen. When it should return, we fire off the first Icicle Sphere. The opponent lets it go. They now switch out into Nidoqueen. Stay in school, kids. Learn to count. How do you combat Niantic and their bullshit lag? Well, counting fast move, catching moves, have some of that action. We come back in with the Walrus. We undercharge in case the opponent doesn't shield. They do shield. We're already at the back-to-back. High Nidoqueen, bye Nidoqueen. Back out comes Umbreon. They've got a move. They don't have to. We're going to shield it up. We're going to get to the next Icicle Sphere, and despite absolutely everything going in the opponent's favour, we're off to a 1-0 start. GG's and thanks for playing. Moving on to the next battle, we see the Walrus in the lead. Pretty neutral matchup. Earthquake would one-shot Blast Burn. Hits like a truck. Solar Beam would obliterate about 56 Walruses. We attempt to catch an Icicle Sphere on our own Walrus. We are unsuccessful. The opponent dumps all of their energy, throwing an Earthquake. They now switch out into a Charmer, and this is in a pretty decent spot for us. We are going to spam out 2 Icicle Spheres, get this thing into a range where we can Incinerate, farm down. We get taken out with Charms. Typlosion, super attack weight. It hits like a truck, but my gosh, does it not want to take a charge move. We are going to shield up the Psy-Shot. We do want to remain as healthy as possible. We shield it up. We leave with back-to-back Blast Burns. Back out comes the Walrus. We throw one more Incinerate. We are capped out on energy. First Blast Burn gets the shield. Second Blast Burn coming through. Is the opponent willing to burn the final shield? Yes, they are. They must be super weak to Typlosion in the back, so I switch out into Suicune. Non-stab Earthquake really doesn't do a lot. Suicune, an absolute bulk monster in the back. They have Giratina, and the ice type coverage of the beam is going to come in clutch. First one gets Giratina into the yellow. We are around 30% health, but Suicune couldn't give a fuck. We tank the Dragon Claw. We make one more Ice Beam. This Ice Beam is going to be night-night, sleep-tight time for Giratina. We've got minimal farm left on our Suicune. We get Powder Snow down. We're almost at the next Blast Burn, and that's all she wrote. GG's and thanks for playing. Moving on to the next battle, it's Nidoqueen in the lead. We've got 2 better responses in the back. I throw 2 Incinerates, attempt to catch the Poison Fang on Suicune, and we are met with a Cresselia. They throw on 6. You hate to see it. That means they are on Grass Knot, but Suicune is absolutely loaded. We're going straight for the Hydro Pump, and it lands for big, big damage. Suicune, really uncommon pick. I highly doubt the opponent knows the counts. We're already at the next Ice Beam, so I am going to shield it up. I'm going to over farm, fire off this Ice Beam. Ice Beam should be drawing a shield from Cresselia, unless they know the counts. We are looking to get to one more Ice Beam. This should either flip switch or get the final shield off the opponent. The opponent does fire, and it's a CMP. Suicune, you absolute monster. No idea why more people don't use it, because it's an absolute fantastic pick in this meta. We now come in to Typlosion. You can see we are going to look to Incinerate all the way down. We tank the Blast Burn. Can we get the Incinerate farm down? No, we cannot. So I look to catch the next Grass Knot on my Walrus, banking a boatload of energy on Typlosion. We Powder Snow all the way down. What is the opponent's final Pokemon? I highly doubt they return with the Nidoqueen. They show us the Nidoqueen, switch out into Umbreon and going straight for the Earthquake, as it does enough damage to hopefully put this thing into Blast Burn range. We are going to be able to tank the Foul Play. We are now going to throw an Icicle Sphere. I was really hoping my switch timer would pop up and I could bank it. It doesn't actually pop up, but it does now. So we fire off the Blast Burn. This will be taking care of the Umbreon. The opponent has the move banked, so we are going straight for the Blast Burn. Blast Burn lands for huge damage. I am not going to shield this up. I believe we have enough health left on our Walrus to knock him out. You can see we come in. Where the fuck is my fast move, Niantic? What the heck is this nonsense? It is like the game has gone backwards. We would have actually tied that battle if I got my move through, which we should. We wouldn't have won, but either way, it's nice to actually get the result that you're supposed to get. But we're not going to dwell on it. Let's move straight on to the next one. We pick up an absolutely dreadful lead. Typlosion into Swampert. We say switch into Suicune. They bait me with a Hydro Cannon. We do not take the bait. They now switch out into Machamp. We fire off the Ice Beam. They fire off the Cross Chop. Suicune once again, far too thick. We survive. We fire off the second Ice Beam and the opponent actually lets it go. Holy smokes. Suicune going on an absolute tear up. Back out comes Swampert. They manage to mudshot us all the way down. I've got no intentions of shielding us up. The opponent throws the Earthquake. It lands for big damage. They now make an absolutely great swap, catching the Icicle Sphere on a Charmer. But guess what, Mr. Opponent? We can now come in, commit all the way to the Incinerate farm down. Hi, Gramble. Bye, Gramble. Swampert, my good buddy. You are about to be countered by a Fire-type first Blast Burn. Gets the shield. We are also going to shield up absolutely everything, and it's going to be a race. Who's going to get to 3 moves first? Typlosion absolutely going off. We're making Blast Burn number 2. This is going to get the second shield from the opponent. They are looking now to mudshot us down, but Typlosion makes the move. We've just got to shield this up. Typlosion is going to win CMP, even if Swampert's at back-to-back, and Typlosion is that Swampert counter you are looking for. GG's, and thanks for playing. Moving on to the next battle, we see another Walrus in the lead. The opponent switches out into Cresselia, and to be honest, this is probably my best Cresselia answer. The opponent fires the Moonblast. That doesn't do a whole load of damage. We are now going to fire back with a Blast Burn. You've already seen Blast Burn lands for big damage. Cresselia, you might think you are bulky, but clearly you aren't bulky enough. We can tank any one move from Cresselia, even if it's on Grass Knot. We will survive 2. We are now going to have to tank the second. We've seen Suicune's bulk time and time again in this video. We do survive. We are now firing off. The Ice Beam. Does the opponent want to give up a shield? They do not. It doesn't actually knock out. They say that Cresselia on 1 HP and a Dream, and they come back in to the Walrus. But Walrus, we are loaded on Typlosion. We are going to fire off the first Blast Burn. Blast Burn draws a shield from the opponent, and we're now coming in to the big fat Walrus mirror. This match is super boring, especially if the opponent goes for some baits. This opponent doesn't bait, and likewise, we aren't baiting either. Does the opponent want to give up the final shield? They do not. Earthquake will do a number on us in this situation, but they go for the Icicle Sphere bait. Holy crap, how many times do I have to say don't throw Icicle Spheres in this matchup? The opponent throws 2 Icicle Spheres. We're now going to overfarm, fire off the Earthquake. This should be taking care of the Walrus, which it does. They've now got a Talonflame in the back. We are going to chip it with an Icicle Sphere. However, the opponent chooses to give up their final shield. We're still hanging on to 2. We know this is going to be a flame charge, but I do have to shield up something. We're being really mindful of the sacrificial swap. The opponent feeds me some free energy. We farm down that Cresselia, and it's now time for the back-to-back Blast Burns. Blast Burn lands for absolutely huge damage. It actually does more than Icicle Sphere, despite being resisted, and Typlosion cleans up that battle. GG's, and thanks for playing. Moving on to the next battle, we see that big fat tin can in the lead. The opponent is staying in, so I am worried that the opponent is going to try and catch when they're using a 1-turn move versus our 5-turn move. It is really easy to catch, but I'm now at the back-to-back, so even if they catch, I will bank one. For later, the opponent lets it go. They don't survive, even though we're debuffed. They come in to Giratina. I throw one more Incinerate, switch out into the Walrus, and that is all she wrote. Moving on to the next one. We see Tapu Fini in the lead, absolutely dreadful. We save switch into Suicune, which is also a losing matchup. The opponent answers with the big fat tin can. We land the Hydro Pump with the Snarls. We've got them now into the yellow. We've seen Suicune is super thick. We tank the Zap Cannon. We're looking to get to Hydro Pump. Number 2, this should land for big damage or force a shield. The opponent chooses to shield it up. We get lock on down, but this is absolute farm down for Typlosion. We know they've got some residual energy. We sneak the Incinerate. I am going to one shield. Hopefully we can farm all the way down. This tin can is so thick though. They make one more move. We can't double shield. We are going to survive, but we are going to be left super low, and you already know when Tapu Fini returns, no bait on this channel. Does the opponent want to give up the final shield? We're going straight for the Hail Mary. Even debuffed, it lands for huge damage. We look to snipe with the Walrus, and it is Talonflame in the back. If we throw our moves at correct timing, this should be G to the G. The opponent needs to go for a Brave Bird. My absolute huge cojones say you are going to bait, and bait they do. We now over farm, fire off one more Icicle Sphere. Icicle Sphere gets the final shield. We can now comfortably shield this move up. The Tapu Fini doesn't have any energy. We're going to throw 2 more Powder Snows. High Talonflame, bye Talonflame. Get fucking wrecked. We're going to Powder Snow down Tapu Fini and take that game. Moving on to the next battle, we've got the polar opposites. We've got the super attack weighted, super hard hitting Typlosion versus the super bulky, not particularly hard hitting Greedent. But you can see that Body Slam did do big damage because Typlosion is made of absolute paper. We are now at the back-to-back blast burns. We are going to unleash the first blast burn, and I think Greedent thinks, holy smokes, what the heck just happened? Greedent, one of the bulkiest mon in the entire Ultra League, is F deep in the red. We come in now with Suicune. They now switch out into Jellicent. Not a particularly great matchup. Snarl does hit for super effective, however, resisted Hydro Pump. Despite being a good move, doesn't do all that much damage. We've now got this thing into the yellow. They throw the Shadow Ball. Once again, Suicune shows its bulk. We undertap a last second Ice Beam. This gets them now into the red. And now it is time to come in with the Walrus and use it as a damage sponge. Walrus, the bulkiest mon of the 3, probably slightly bulkier than Suicune. We tank the Shadow Ball, absolutely no problem whatsoever. We are going to fire off an Icicle Sphere. The opponent should let it go, but they've obviously shown they are weak in the back. Due to that, I believe they are going to bait me. I'm going to say Shadow Ball me if you dare. They dare not. Now they come in to the Greedent, trying to catch a move. That gets Powder Snowed down. It must be Nidoqueen in the back. Jellicent once again comes in. We Powder Snow that down as well. It is Nidoqueen in the back. We're going to fire off the first Blast Burn. That does huge damage to Nidoqueen. They're attempting to Poison Jab us down, but Typlosion says no chance. One more Blast Burn takes this game. GG's, and thanks for playing. Moving on to the next battle, we've got the battle of the Incinerate users, Talonflame versus Typlosion. I'm going to count to 3. Look to catch a Brave Bird on my Suicune. The opponent doesn't throw their energy. They fire off the Brave Bird now, and once again, Suicune shows its absolute huge bulk. They now come in to a Trevenant, but we've got the Ice Beam coverage. The opponent respects the Ice Beam. They are going to look to commit to the Shadow Claw farm down. Not fantastic, as this Trevenant is now absolutely loaded. We come in with Typlosion. We go for the extra move, which we get. We correctly shield up a Shadow Ball. We're now building up to the back-to-back Blast Burn. Does the opponent want to burn a shield? They do not. Down goes Trevenant. We are loaded on our Typlosion. If that Talonflame should return, you've already seen that Blast Burn does absolutely huge damage. Is the opponent willing to shield up a resisted move? Yes, they are. They're over farming. We're going to CMP tie on this next Blast Burn. Is the opponent willing to double shield? No, they're not. Holy smokes, that does a lot of damage for a resisted move. They actually go for a Flame Charge, and now it is the Walrus Mirror in the back. However, we have one shield. The opponent has none. They should be reaching for that top left. We don't shield up the first Earthquake. In case they go for a bait, we are going to fire off 2 Earthquakes. First Earthquake gets them low, and it's going to be about CMP. Who wins CMP? Our Walrus. It looks like they do win CMP, or the opponent was one short. They didn't actually go for the move. You saw the Powder Snow come through, and we Powder Snow down the Talonflame in the back as well. Moving on to the next one. We see another Talonflame in the lead. Holy crap, people are using some really original Pokemon. We look to catch the Brave Bird once again on Suicune. The opponent goes for a bait. They are staying in, so this next one is most likely going to be the Brave Bird. We are going to shield it up as boosted Brave Bird would knock out. The opponent now makes a great catch, catching the Ice Beam on the big thick boy Snorlax. Ice Beam though does some respectable chip damage. We are now going to outpace to the Hydro Pump. Is the opponent willing to respect the Hydro Pump? No, they are not. Snorlax is straight in and straight out, and it is Trevenant in the back. The opponent smartly throws that energy. Before we get to the Ice Beam, Suicune has done a whole fuckload of work. We now come in to the Typlosion. We're at the back-to-back Blast Burns. First Blast Burn gets the shield. We're at the second. Is the opponent willing to two-shield their Donny? Yes, they are, but guess what, Mr. Opponent? You have two-shielded the wrong Donny. We've got Walrus in the back. Even a Brave Bird will not knock out, so we don't shield it. They just go for the Flame Charge. We're going to fire back with an Icicle Sphere. Icicle Sphere takes care of Talonflame. Back out comes the Trevenant. They need to get to two moves. Walrus outpaces, and that's all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. So those were the battles with the really spicy Shadow Typhlosion, Shadow Suicune core. As you can tell, it does some huge damage. I was really surprised how well this team worked. I actually gained around 100 points in 4 sets. I wasn't really expecting to gain any points. I just wanted to run some spice, but I can say this team did really work. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing, and I will see you all in the next one.